Welcome to PC Gaming Tech Summary and the Far Cry 6 benchmark.
This is a reminder that curfew will be in effect tonight. It is strongly urged that you respect these safety measures established by your government.
I'm doing another video on how frequency affects frames per second. So I'll be looking at 3.6 gigahertz. What kind of frames does a game create at that frequency, and comparing it to 4.8. Now the PS5 has got 8 cores at 3.5 gigahertz. The whole reason for me doing these videos is to see if basically the CPU manufacturers can release a CPU that has lots of cores but at a lower frequency, so that it can come in at a very cost-effective price. So for instance, a 4 gigahertz boosted CPU, okay, with 8 cores plus 4 efficient cores. Now the result for Far Cry 6, and we do see a change in frames per second from 96 to 103. So it's not a huge difference between the two frequencies, but it is 7.4%. Now I've also included power information and data, and also the Corsair AIO, the temperatures I'm getting with that. Now this is for 4K Far Cry, and there basically is no difference between the frequencies. You get the same frame rate at either frequency. 3.6, the same as 4.8. Very interesting data. Now, here is Rainbow Six Extraction, and I'm just showing here that I did a benchmark. The result was 62 frames per second. And then when I go and use the NVIDIA video recording from GeForce Experience, the result is 4 FPS lower. So if you do some recording and you're looking at frames per second, that recording is going to use up around approximately 4 frames per second. So you just should keep that in mind. Now, if you're interested in these slides that I've created with the data on it, you might want to pause the video to have a closer look, but I'm trying not to leave them on the screen for too long of a time. So if you have a keyboard, you can try and press the space bar to pause it. Now, this game is a little bit interesting as far as frequencies. So you will see at the end of this benchmark the slides that I've created, and what you're going to see is that there is no difference in frame rate between 3.6 gigahertz and 4.8 gigahertz. And out of these games that I had a look at, Far Cry 6, Rainbow Six Extraction, and Watchdogs Legion, I liked Far Cry 6 the best, but I like Far Cry 5. So if you like Far Cry 5, you're gonna like Far Cry 6, I think. So you can see here that with the recorded benchmark with NVIDIA, GeForce dropped 4 frames per second. And a very small difference at 1080p, you know, less than 1%. So basically the same result at both frequencies and the same at 4K. Now here are the power and temps data. I am only leaving them up on the screen for a few seconds. I'm moving away from collecting that data. I was just quite interested in the power usage. Okay, now we're on to Watchdogs Legion. Now, if you look at the bottom right of your screen, you can see CPU load and GPU load. So you can see each of the setting and you can see the effect that it's going to have. So it really helps in adjusting the different settings to fit your needs. So this is probably the best I've ever seen in a game. It just makes it so much easier. Now, as I changed frequencies, this particular game actually was the most sensitive to me making frequency changes. In other words, it would crash quite easily with me playing around with frequency speeds, okay? So what I've done here is when the action starts in this benchmark, there's a lot of swearing, so I've tried to cut that out. I don't think there's really a need to have swearing in a benchmark because these things get played over and over again, and you might have a young person walk past and they don't need to hear this language. Now, I use the 3060 12 gigabyte graphics card with this testing, and I like using this card because it's got 12 gigabytes of video memory, and so it makes it more easy to use up that video memory efficiently with a game such as this, where you can look at the CPU load and the GPU load. Okay, this benchmark's finishing up and gives us some interesting data. I won't leave it up on the screen too long, but it gives useful information. Now, at 1080p, 2.5% difference, going from around 91 to 93 FPS for the two frequencies. And 4K, no difference. So, yeah, so this points to the idea that a GPU could be sold that has lower frequency but more cores, okay? And that would be very beneficial for gamers, as well as if you're doing content creation, because those extra cores really help with creating videos. All right, now, I just had a little bit of a play to show you how bad a driver I can be. I thought it was a bit funny. Well, if you'd like to see some more videos on a wide range of technology subjects, such as chemistry and technology, what the chemistry, and software and hardware, and Windows 10 and 11, and well, all you have to do is subscribe and you'll get notified when those videos are ready. Thanks for joining us here on PC Gaming Tech Summary. And don't forget, you'll be seeing me in the next video.